Father, of the Son, of the Spirit. So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Father.
Okay, so now we have three. Maria, Maria, Maria. Okay, write it down. Okay, so the morning class is way ahead of us. So,
Father, I believe your morning people left because they said, you're on 12 or 14? And we're like, yeah, okay, we're on 23, we're on. They're not here anymore. They were sitting right here. No, where did they go? Oh, I think because we're on 14.
okay, so we are basically looking at the Eucharist as sacrifice. In order to understand basically sacrifice in general, we have to understand sacrifice in the general experience of humans. So sacrifice in the religious experience of humankind. This is a very important thing. Human beings are made by God, whether they believe it or not. They are created by God. And because they are created by God, God planted in each and every human being that yearning for the infinite, for the transcendent. Because we have a spirit which seeks spiritual union, communion. Okay? So just as we have flesh, that material aspect, and you are attracted to material things like food, things like that. But with the spirit, because we are made for God, so that yearning is far more profound than material yearning. That's why you notice even people who reject God and even the spiritual realm, that there is no spirit, it's only matter, they too yearn for what is spiritual. Okay? Because this is there. We have a spiritual component to us. We are composite body and soul. We are composite beings. So there is always need to satisfy the spiritual aspect of our nature. So that's where this idea of sacrificing to the gods comes from. So peoples from the remotest past of every time and place have offered sacrifice to the gods or spirits whose favor they sought or whose displeasure they feared. Okay? So you're seeking favor of the gods, you do something for the gods. If you think that the gods are mad at you, then you do something to appease the gods. Okay? So why has sacrifice been such a widespread phenomenon among people so much removed from one another in time and place? The answer is that it meets a deeply felt human need and it corresponds to something basic to the nature of the human being, namely our composite nature, matter and spirit. So human beings are spirit-endowed bodily beings living in a world of time and space. As a spirit, they have the capacity and the need to seek the mystery that gives meaning to existence and that promises the fulfillment of their deepest needs and desires. So driven by an inner dynamism, that power, they reach out to this transcendent mystery that at once fascinates and forbids, attracts and keeps at a distance, inspires desire and dread, hope and fear. So as frail, contingent beings that come precariously into being and walk always on the brink of destruction, human beings depend entirely on God for their very existence, for all the necessities of life, and for their ultimate fulfillment. Even those who say, I don't believe it, okay? They say, I don't believe it, but the way they live their lives, they live as if they truly believe it. So people say, I don't believe in God, I don't believe, the only reality I believe in is what I can touch, what I can see, what I can experience, empirical data. So that's why they say, you show me the science. Okay? Science meaning what I can see, what I can touch, what I can experiment with. But then from there, when Trump does something or somebody else, they say, that is not just.
They cannot feel.
Well, you tell them, experiment with justice, show me justice, touch it, see it, feel it. You can't. So they live a contradiction. Okay? Well, that is true, that is not true. Well, how experiment with truth? Can you basically test truth in a lab? Can you experiment with it? No. But we talk about these realities as if they do exist, and indeed they do. We know they do, but they are immaterial realities. And so people who say that they don't believe in God, they live in contradiction every day. Because they talk about spiritual aspects of our nature without even thinking about it. Okay? Because it simply is, it's true. So because they are made for God, are totally dependent on Him, and they can find their well-being only in Him, human beings have a profound need to pray to God and orient their lives to Him. You notice that when people say they don't believe in God, okay, all there is matter and these things we see around us, eventually you see them orienting toward what we call the occult, dark forces. That's why you see in places like Hollywood, there's so much worship of those things. Because the spiritual void is there. It needs to be filled with something. You may deny it, but it is there. It's constantly yearning for something, and you're going to fill it either with a good spirit or an evil spirit. So there is no neutral ground one to say, I don't believe in anything. Yes, you do. And that thing you believe in will find you, or you will find it. But most of the time it finds you. So these so-called atheists, if they're strictly atheists, they find themselves into devil worshipping. Because there is no void, there is no middle ground between God and the devil. You either belong to God or to the devil. Okay? So yes.
I ask the question, how about those who say, I believe some things, I'm Catholic and I go to Mass. And I maybe go to Mass 2 or 3 times a week. And I go through the motions, but I don't believe everything that the Catholic teaches. And I don't. Because certain things I believe this way. And so I think the church is wrong. But I go to Mass 2 or 3 times, and certain things I grab, but not everything. Am I still...
They are confused.
How can we help them?
And to basically the only way to help them is to continue to bombard them with truth, to show them the truth.
But they're convinced they got the truth.
Yes.
And we're wrong.
Yes. So if you are convinced you have the truth, why don't you retain your truth? Why do you keep coming to us? Because there's something that constantly draws you to us. Okay? And what it is, if you're a Catholic and you come to Mass, it is the Eucharist. Now ask yourself, what is the Eucharist? What is it? What is the Eucharist? The Eucharist is the way. The Eucharist is the truth. That is the key word.
But can someone embrace the Eucharist, the teaching of the Holy Eucharist fully, and then have problems with the Old Testament, per se?
You can't, because the Eucharist is that word. Okay? It is the fullness of that word. Jesus is the Word. The Word of God is a person. Okay? Truth is a person. The way is a person. Life is a person. So His Word is Himself. So you cannot say, I believe in Jesus, but I don't believe in His Word. That's what you see in our creed. Okay? The highest mystery, we have a hierarchy of mysteries in the creed. So the highest mystery is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Then dependent upon that highest mystery are, after we profess we believe in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, how does the creed continue? Let's say the Apostles' Creed. I believe in... Let's recite it together. I believe in God, the Father Almighty, the Creator of heaven and earth, and Jesus Christ, His Son, Not very nice Nicene Creed. The Nicene Creed is what we pray at Mass Sundays, the long one. The Apostles' Creed is the short one. Thank you. But you can say either. This short. We're used to the long one. Yes. Okay. So I believe in God. Then after that, the Holy Catholic I believe in the Holy Catholic Church. So the Church is an article of faith. If you believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, you believe in the Holy Catholic Church. So you cannot say you believe in God and you don't believe in the church. That's why the virtue of faith is to believe in God and everything He has revealed and said to us, and to believe everything Mother Church proposes for our belief. That's what is called faith. Anything short that is not Catholic. But the good thing is you mentioned that this is always very important to know. If I were the devil, or if you were the devil, what would you really do first? If I were the devil, what will I do first? The first thing I would do, and this is what the devil does first, is to pull people away from God. That's what he does. That's what he did in the garden. So, what is the most intimate way humans can embrace God in this life? The most intimate way is the Eucharist. In the Eucharist time, that confession, they go hand in hand. Reconciliation, that sacrament. So that's why you notice that the devil is very active whenever we seek that deepest union or communion with God. So it's not by accident that our masses, our liturgies, are sources of distractions. Because the devil doesn't want us to focus, to concentrate, to pay attention to what is going on. Because once we do that, once we approach this mystery, then we are slipping out of his grip, has no power over us. We are moving over to God out of his hands. So the devil will always try to make us water down, belittle the mystery of the Eucharist. Because that's where we're going to receive our deepest understanding, deepest wisdom, deepest whatever you name it. That's the font from which we draw that. Life in the Spirit. So the devil will always be active. So it's not by accident sometimes you see priests simply rushing through Mass. Because the devil works on us. Because he knows when we really know what we are doing and focus on what we are doing, then basically he has failed. So the devil will always attack priests in the area of the Eucharist and the confession. Because as you know, no other human being can do these two things except a priest. So the devil distracts us to think that the other things we do are more important than this. So you don't have to go verify your experience as Catholics to understand what I'm talking about. So these other things now take precedence. So priests, I was discussing with one priest and he said, well, for us nobodies. I said, what do you mean by being a nobody? He said, well, I don't have a parish, I'm not a pastor. I'm not in charge of whatever, So to be in charge, because that gives you power, which is a false power. This is power. This is real power. But the devil wants us to think that there is no real power in this. There is power in these other things. So we can be distracted. At home in Uganda, my nieces, I have many. I'm the youngest of 9, so I have many nieces. So my nieces, when they were like in high school, not even high school, they were like 13, 14, 15, 16, that age 17. They would go to a parish for mass, but they would see it very clearly that I don't want, when Father so-and-so shows up for mass, this was basically the parish priest. We don't call them pastors. Pastor to us is a very Protestant word. It's legitimate. Pastoral comes from, shepherd, or it is parish priest. It was the parish priest. He would go through mass like a bullet. Even before you respond, he has moved on. Then, after mass, which took like 20 minutes, 18 minutes, because we would then he would talk about money for 40 minutes. That's the area where he's really comfortable. And so they said, when you go to mass, you come out feeling that you haven't prayed, you haven't done anything, you haven't gone to mass. So if he's the one saying mass, we don't go. We go somewhere else. But they don't go to seminary to become like that. It's the work of the evil one. So when we go to mass, the different distractions, even we ourselves, the devil has what usually we call a kitchen-like strategy. He throws so many things at us during these moments. So at mass, that's when you start thinking about what you'll be shopping for. You need to do shopping. That's when obscene thoughts come to your mind. That's when, a very old, feudal disagreement you had with someone comes to mind. Because the devil doesn't want you to be there. So that's one of the reasons. People come, I don't believe in this. For me, I come for the Eucharist or whatever. Okay? You come for the Eucharist? I don't care about what the church teaches. So why do you come to the church to receive the Eucharist if you don't care about the church? Okay? So but those are the distractions that come our way. It's the work of the evil one. So we have to be aware of the strategy of the devil. He throws so many things at us. So at Mass, what we need to do, because so many distractions come to us at Mass. Okay? There are external distractions, people talking. Okay? These people doing whatever they want to do. But the most damaging, profound distractions are those that come from within. Yes, those from without are distractions. And oftentimes we focus so much on the external distractions. But the interior distractions are very profound. They're the ones actually that prevent us from a living communion with God. So what we need to do is that when they come, usually what we try to do is, go away. I don't want to think this way. It's like, I don't want God to see this. I don't want God to think that I'm thinking this. There's nothing God can see. The moment it comes there, He sees it. Okay? So we need always to remember that that is the devil at work. What do we call temptation? It lies within that same framework. Number one is suggestion. That's the beginning of temptation. At the level of suggestion, none of us can say that I'm not tempted by the devil. For me, I'm very good. I'm very focused. The devil never tempts me. Okay? The devil tempted our Master, Jesus Christ. The devil is so daring. The devil went to Jesus, whom he knew that he is true God, to try to derail his mission. At the level of suggestion, throwing something at him. Okay? So if you look at all these things, they belong to me. I will give them to you, but you have to do one thing, to worship me. Because as we said before, the devil thinks he is God. We are the one who call him the devil. He calls himself God. So the devil telling God to worship him. Okay? But of course, God wouldn't fall for that because he created everything. Okay? So what are you going to give me that you don't have? But that is the nature of the devil. He promises us to give us things, false power. And we fall for false power. Many of us Christians fall for false power. And we forget this true power of God. Who will be pastor there? Who will be in charge of this? Who will be in charge of whatever? You are in charge of the mysteries of salvation. What else do you want? What else do you want? So, but it's lack of understanding. Okay? That darkness, that ignorance brought about by the evil one. So at the level of suggestion, all of us are tempted. The devil suggests things. At this level, we have not committed any sin. It is the work of the devil suggesting things. So when things pop up in your mind, when you are at mass or prayer or whatever, you have not sinned. The devil is throwing things at you, okay, to see what will work. Because the devil can't read our mind, okay, as God does. The devil is not God. But it's a fallen angel. He's so tactical and cunning. So he knows human nature. Though he can't read our mind, but he knows our nature. He knows our weaknesses. Okay? So he tries to throw things at us. He suggests. So at that level, when the devil suggests things, we shouldn't try to fight them, to throw them away. They don't go away. It's like water at the same level. You put an obstacle, you remove it, the water comes back. That's how it is. You try to get go away, it doesn't go away. So what we need to do, like at Mass, you bring those distractions at the center of prayer and then offer them to God. God knows what is going on in my mind. So I tell God, okay, this is what is going on. I know the devil is doing this. So I offer you these concerns of mine. Some of these distractions are genuine concerns we have, or worries, or whatever they are. So we bring them at the center of prayer and offer them to God as a prayer. That's how we defeat the devil. Because what he intended to be a distraction is now the object of prayer. And so, you can't do anything with that. He doesn't know what to do with it. Okay? But if you try to get mad at the devil, when you get angry with the devil, that's what he loves. He is the source of anger and bitterness. I remember one time I had a charismatic group I used to go to. Charismatic, by the way, the charismatic movement, you have to remember, is an authentic devotion in the Catholic Church. Okay? So it's not something bad, but it's subjected to many abuses. So that's why it has to be streamlined. Okay? So in this charismatic group, when I first went there, they prayed and prayed and prayed. At one point in prayer, there was a period, and that period was for kicking the devil, to kick the devil. So they would get up. How can you kick the devil? The devil is not a material being. Okay? So when you try to kick the devil, it tells you, no, come on. That's what I love. You know? You're being bitter, being angry, being whatever. So you can't kick the devil. Okay? So we have to offer that to God. So basically, number two where we fail is that the devil suggests all these things. You don't need the church, you don't need whatever. Then number two is to take. Delight in the suggestion. You know, there's so many things, you know, the devil suggests. One time I remember, I was home in Uganda, we have like these big tax parks, okay, like minivans parked there to take people to different areas. So this man was moving, I was standing by, you know, a stage there, and this man was going this way, and there was a girl coming from the opposite direction. So they passed each other, and then the man went like, first time, and then he looked again. And then the third time he prolonged, you know, the look as he was walking, and then he slammed into a car, and he fell, and then he got up, but everybody saw him and people were laughing at him. Okay. So that's basically when we are tempted, and then we begin to take delight in the suggestion, then we begin to entertain it, you look again, and again, and again, okay? Then that's when it looks attractive. Remember in the garden, Eve looked at the fruit, and it was attractive to the eyes. Okay? So don't look again, go.
Run.
Run.
I was tempted like that, okay? I say the rosary every night. While I was saying the rosary, I was Hail Mary, full of grace, Hail Mary. And then all of a sudden, in my mind, I could see flowers, and I could see, what I like. Flowers, and I don't know what else I was thinking. And I lost the count. So I said, okay, so I started over again.
That is all of us. Before you know it, you're on the third decade, but you don't even know how you got there.
But guess how I said the rosary completely without any thoughts. Because I stopped completely and I asked St. Michael to come and help me. I said, come and put your foot on his head so I can send the rosary.
That's why the Catechism talks about the section on prayer instructions when we pray. They're always there. So we have just to know how to handle them. You're praying the rosary or any other prayer. You're going through it. Before you know it, you are on the fourth decade. But you don't know how you got there because the mind was not there. You're thinking about other things. So to take delight in the suggestion, okay, that's when we begin to dialogue with the devil. That's the mistake Eve made. That's the mistake we make. When you open this dialogue with the evil one, you don't win. As St. Paul tells us in Ephesians 6:10 through 20, the spiritual battle. We're not fighting flesh and blood, meaning another human being. We are fighting principalities, heavenly beings, demons, fallen angels. They are far more tactical and cunning than we are. So, taking delight is opening that dialogue. And then, once we do that, eventually we take action. We consent to the suggestion. And this is basically sin. This is how we fall into sin. So Jesus couldn't be tempted in these two ways. The devil would only suggest to him. But Jesus wouldn't take delight in sin, the suggestion. He just can't. He's God. And he can't consent to evil. But we fall into this because our intellect and will has been weakened by original sin. That's why sin is always delightful. You wonder what sometimes the delight we get in sin. Like hating somebody. And we all do it. We all do it in certain ways. Okay? It's like we don't like somebody, and when they are not suffering, or they are away from suffering, it's just like, oh, what do I do? Even in simple things like sports. Okay? Like for me right now, there is a league going on in Europe, Champions League. So there are teams I don't like Bayern Munich in Germany and other teams. So those went out earlier, and now the four teams that remain, I love them, so I'm not enjoying it. Because I don't have an enemy. So those kinds of things. So to take delight in the temptation, so we have to really know. So those people who say that the devil has suggested, and they have found the suggestion delightful. So we just have to. That's why we need to admonish one another to show someone that yes, you enjoy it and you think it is true and you're convinced, but it's not God doing that in you. It's the evil one who suggested that falsehood. And you fell for it. And so you are not in the grip of God. You are in the grip of the evil one. He's driving you around, showing you things. Okay? Okay.
Thank you.
So, as embodied beings living in a material world, humans seek contact with God in the manner most congenial to their nature, that is, through material means provided by the world around them. And they express their devotion to God as they do to fellow humans on a different plane, especially by the offer of material things. So because of our nature, Jesus instituted the sacraments. Okay? Things we can see and experience on our level, which confer grace we cannot see. That's why he became incarnate. Okay? He's the visible image of the invisible God. Because that is congenial to our nature, the way God made us. Okay? So the giving of gifts is a natural way for humans to express their inner feelings and desires. Okay? So gifts can be given for a variety of reasons. Yeah, this is a very important thing. The giving of gifts is a natural way for humans to express their inner feelings and desires. So if you say that you love someone, like there was a mother who came to me and she was asking me a question, she was confused. Her daughter called her because her birthday was coming, and the daughter called the mother, "Mother, should I send you a gift for your birthday?" As a mother, how do you respond?
It's up to you.
No.
Should I send you a gift?
It's all up to
Is that even a question you ask?
you. No.
So the question is, why are you asking? There is a problem here. There is something wrong. Okay? You shouldn't be asking. Okay? So it's, God, should I give you anything? So gifts can be given for a variety of reasons: to express one's love, to show love, and to seek a return of love. So when we offer a gift, not everybody who offers a gift is manipulating the other. Although today gifts can be given to manipulate, like in politics. Okay? Give you a gift, you get in the office, it's time to deliver, where the returns, okay? Things like that. No, but love, a gift can be given to show that I really love you. And then when you offer that gift again, you show love to the other person. You expect the other person to reciprocate that love. Okay? So if you are a wife or husband, you bring a very good gift again to your husband for their birthday or wife or whatever. Okay, this is what I got you for your birthday. Okay, thank you. Then they continue to read their newspaper. They don't even open it. Oh, thank you. And then you come back the next day, it's still wrapped. Next month, it's still wrapped up. So how do you look at that person? Would there be really a sign that there is love here? No. No, there is a problem. The other is not reciprocating that love. So, gifts can be given to amend and seek reconciliation. When one has offended another, a gift is an appropriate way of saying, "I'm sorry, please forgive me." You don't get to offend somebody so bad, you forgive me. Yes. You are not very forgiving. Why? You are the offender, and then you are demanding that you be forgiven. Okay? Without doing anything favorable. All gifts can be given to request a favor. When one wishes to gain the favor of another, the most effective way is to present a gift the other will treasure. Okay? So, for example, when you will offer masses, okay, to God, like what we offer mass for people for various needs, or even prayers, different prayers, but usually what we call offering mass. Okay? So you hear every day they read a mass intention. Okay? So you hear people, you see people come to the office and ask, not here, I haven't seen it here, but church offices, "Father, how much is mass?" How much is mass? How much is mass? How much is mass? The blood of the Son of God. If you can offer me that, okay? Okay. So it's priceless. Okay, that's why for me I think it's a mistake. And there's reasons why the church does some things the way it does it. They say that the minimum stipend for mass is $10.
$10, $15.
Okay, $10. But realistically, there shouldn't be something like that. Because in a sense, what people will misunderstand or misunderstand is that, well, this is how much mass costs. Okay? And when people come with $10, okay, so $10, I bought that mass. So when they don't hear the name read, they get so mad. I paid for that mass and I didn't hear my name, said. People get so angry. Not realizing that whether your name is pronounced there or not, God sees. Okay? What is going on? Okay? That was my mass.
The flip side of that, Father, is that you put some low coins to the mass as well. It's only $10.
Yeah. It's only $10.
Yeah, so it starts to demean.
So it shouldn't be that it's always a free will. This is what we're talking about. You are seeking the favor of God. Okay? If the best you can offer God is $1, go ahead. I think some of you have heard this joke about dollars in heaven. So, dollar bills, get up to the gates of heaven. Peter is there. All the $1 bills just look at them. Going. Then the $5 bills are like, $5 bills come. Okay. $10 bills, $20 bills, find it a little bit. If you got $50, but most of the $100 bills go to hell. Why?
They never been in church.
They never made it to church.
Where's the usher? Where's our usher?
Oh, doesn't never hide.
The ushers know.
No, I don't know.
By the way, we need to talk about this, okay?
It's true. They do.
If you look at our money bags, okay, money bags, they bring, money into counting, and they empty the bags. It's a flood of $1 bills. Catholics, we, generally speaking, we don't understand what it means to support our family of faith. Some Protestant churches, or many of them, do a far much better job of doing that than we do. Okay? We're talking about the offering of a gift. Okay? This is the work of our hands. Okay? God has blessed us, is blessing us with health, with a job, if we have it, and with all these other things. In thanksgiving to God for all He has given me, all He is to me is $1 bill on Sunday. So we take from pocket change. You remember when Jesus was watching people putting into the treasury, the temple treasury, a woman came with pennies, coins, and He said she put in more than the rest. Why? That's all she had. She could have been more selfish than the rest, because the rest were taken from their surplus. But this is all she had, and she gave it. So, as people giving thanks to God for what He has done, for what He has loved us, the way He has loved us, for people, as people seeking favor from God, His graces, His help, and so on and so forth, what do we show? Okay? That really we appreciate what God has done for us, or we trust in Your mighty power. So this is true. Catholics, mostly Catholics, what we do is put pocket change in the treasury. That's what we do. Do you have $1 bill left you don't really need the collection basket becomes like a dumping ground for just coins. Because like if you are a man, you put coins in your pockets, they tear your whatever. Get rid of them. The people who count how money, sometimes they may get in even osteoporosis, carrying coins.
Come on, like Easter Sunday.
So we really need to understand that idea of sacrifice. What is the purpose of that offertory Sunday? We need to help the family. By the way, it's one of the 7 precepts of the church. So I can talk about this, I'm not in charge of your money. Okay? So one of the 7 precepts of the church is that every Catholic has the obligation to support the family of faith. Why? Primarily for 2 reasons. Okay? Number 1 is for the proclamation of the gospel. For example, we have like mass here, different whatever. Like here we have a CCD program. How many kids?
1,400.
1,400. Okay, 1,400. That is evangelization. Okay? They need classrooms, they need structures. So the money we give is what does that. We must be involved in the apostolate. But if you work in a factory, you are an engineer somewhere, whatever, so you may not be able to come and teach CCD. But through the offertory, you facilitate that work. So you are involved in a sense in the apostolate of the church. So how am I involved in the apostolate of the church? By putting in $1 or 50 cents, okay. If that's what I can afford. But if really I can afford something much more, then no. As you know, in the Catholic churches, it's between 15 to 19% of the Catholic population at any given parish who assist in the work we are talking about. 15 to 19%. Many of you know St. Elizabeth in Summerlin, that big church there. When I was still there, Father Kevin used to tell me that the people who supported the whole thing, building the school and the church and whatever, 18%. 18%. Just to think about it. If half of the church, or even 1/3 of the church, were able to support the family of the faith, the churches wouldn't be struggling. They wouldn't be struggling. Okay? Evangelization. Number 2 is? Yes. That's the purpose for which we do things. That's why we should have charity programs that are visible. Unfortunately, at some churches where they have been, some priests go in and just dismantle everything. I don't need poor people here. Okay, if you don't need the poor at the church, what is the church for? Close your doors. You are useless. If the church doesn't live for charity, the church is useless. This is what Pope Francis is trying to teach us. That we are as useful as we are charitable and evangelizing. If we are not doing that, why do we exist? We are good for nothing. So that's the idea of gift.
So, in other words, charity could be also used as volunteerism, to volunteer their services.
Yes, but remember we said, okay, that's part of charity, but remember we said that there is no volunteering in discipleship. That's why we must abandon that language in our churches. We need volunteers. I don't volunteer for my salvation. You don't volunteer for your salvation. Everything we do as charity is required, okay? Is a mandate by Christ for our discipleship. So we're not volunteering, we are serving God. We are doing the work of the apostolate. As we said before, to serve God is to be saved by Him. So every work of charity I do, I am being saved by God. So Pope Francis tells us that we should stop looking at the poor as objects of charity. They are not objects. They are subjects of love. And by loving them, we are being saved. Okay? So, by doing the work of the poor, we are accomplishing the work of our salvation. It's not like, oh, well, they help the poor. Okay? Objects of man, of charity. No. We are subjects of love. So that's why we should offer gifts. And gifts which are sacrificial, okay? Part of who we are. Not simply coins I've been accumulating in my car. They are there. There are so many. Put them in a plastic bag, we take them to church. But also the flip side of that is that some people don't feel or recognize that the family is their church, because sometimes some priests run churches as if they are their property. So they don't invite people to recognize that this is your family. Priests come and go. Okay? People most of the time stay. So people have to basically be made aware that this is your family. But if I come to a parish and basically take over everything, this is what I want, this is what I want, people will say, okay, go ahead and do what you want. We'll come for mass, come whatever, you do what you want, it's your church. So we have to merge together to recognize that it's our family. It's not my church, it's not your church, it is our family, and we have the obligation to take care of it. Okay? Okay. So, gifts are given to acknowledge dependence, express homage, and gratitude. In dealing with one upon whose one's well-being depends, like God, to whom one is indebted for many gifts, and who deserves one's deepest respect, the offer of a gift can symbolize a variety of appropriate dispositions. Number one, the acknowledgement of one's dependence. God, I depend on you. That's why we're going to see later on in the feasts of Israel. They would take the best of the fields. Okay? They were farmers, the farming community. Okay? Farmers and basically the rare animals. Okay? That's where we get the idea of first fruits. The first fruits go to God. If you have the harvest, what do you love most?